And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Small craft advisories all along the outer coastline tomorrow for southeast winds, 25 to 30 knots on the south coast here. Central and north coast, east winds 25 to 30 knots, seas running 10 to 13 feet. And let me back that up, hit the button too early. Southeast tomorrow at 20 for Lynn Canal, Stevens Passage, northeast at 15 knots, and southeast 20 knots for Clarence Strait with seas in that area at 5 feet. And then for Monday, east-southeast winds at 20 knots on the south coast, north to northeast winds 10 to 20 knots on the north coast, seas running 6 to 8 feet up here in the north and just under 10 feet down to the south. Lynn Canal, Glacier Bay, north at 10, seas 2 feet, northeast at 10 for Stevens Passage, and Clarence Strait, southeast winds 15 knots. Prince William Sound, northeast wind, pretty light tomorrow at 10 knots with seas down to 2 feet, but get outside of the sound there, south of Montague Island, and looking at small craft advisories, northeast 25 to 30 knots with 10-foot seas. And for the western North Gulf Coast, Barren Islands north at 20, and small craft advisories for Kamishak Bay, north winds at 25 knots. Cook Inlet, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots, 3 to 5 foot seas. And for Monday, for Cook Inlet, north to northeast winds at 10 knots, northeast at 10 for Prince William Sound, variable winds 10 to 15 knots for the North Gulf Coast, west winds at 20 for Kamishak Bay and the Barren Islands with seas running 5 feet. And moving over to take a look at Kodiak Island, north winds for Sunday at 20 to 25 knots. And the Alaska Peninsula, southeast winds, 20 knots, seas 5 feet, northeast at 20 for Bristol Bay with 4-foot seas. And Monday, Kodiak Island, northwesterlies at 15 to 20 with 3 to 5 foot seas, variable winds at 10, really laying down here for the Alaska Peninsula on Monday as that high pressure moves in, and west winds at 10 for Bristol Bay with 3-foot seas. And for the eastern Aleutians, for Unalaska Island, southeast winds 25 to 30 knots. And here from Nikolsky all the way out to Shimia, winds will be west at 25 to 30 knots, seas running 8 to 12 feet. And then for Monday, for the Aleutians, from Adak westward, look for southwest winds 20 to 30 knots. And Adak and Atka specifically, variable to south at 10 to 15 knots. And the eastern Aleutians looking at west-southwesterlies at 15 to 20. And for the southwest coast, east winds 15 to 20 knots, strongest south of Nunivak Island. Lighter winds to the north here, St. Lawrence Island, east at 10, east at 5 for Norton Sound, but gale warnings down here for the Pribilof Islands, east at 35 knots, seas 10 feet, and southeast at 25 with 14-foot seas for St. Matthew Island. Those winds turn southerly in both those zones, 20 knots there for the Pribilofs, 25 knots for St. Matthew Island, south 20 knots for the Kuskokwim Delta Coast, east at 10 for the Yukon Delta Coast, and St. Lawrence Island, southeast wind 10 knots, east winds 5 knots for Norton Sound. Central and eastern Beaufort Sea coastline tomorrow, east winds 10 knots, seas 2 feet, western Arctic coast, east at 15, 3-foot seas, and the Chukchi Sea, south to southeast winds, 15 knots with 3-foot seas. And for Monday, east to southeast winds for the Chukchi Sea at 10 to 15 knots. And for the western and central coast here, east at 15, seas running 3 feet. And looking at a pickup in the easterly winds for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast there, looking east at 20 with 4-foot seas.